The twin suns hung low over the horizon, casting a golden shimmer across the crystalline city that stretched like a jewel across the desert plains. On the edge of one of the tallest towers, an alien woman named Lyra stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the humans below. Her world was one of perfection in design and symmetry, yet her mind, unlike most of her species, was often restless. She loved order, but she also loved surprises. That day, she planned a surprise of her own. Humans had recently begun arriving on her planet for research and diplomacy, and among them was a young human named Eli. He was unassuming and quiet, blending into the human contingent without drawing attention. Yet to Lyra, he was fascinating. There was a subtle strength in his manner, a quiet curiosity in the way he observed the alien technology around him. It was not the brash, bold energy that her people admired, but something gentler, something rare. Lyra had conceived her plan the night before. A proposal, she had decided, though not in the conventional sense her species would expect. To her, a proposal was not merely a bond or a ceremony. It was an invitation to adventure. She had chosen the most daring platform she could find, the observation deck at the apex of her city, where the winds howled and the stars above seemed close enough to touch. When Eli arrived, he was unsure why Lyra had summoned him. The alien woman greeted him with her usual elegance, her eyes glimmering with mischief. "Do you trust me?" she asked, her tone light, teasing. Eli paused, sensing the unusual weight behind the question. "I think so," he replied carefully. Lyra smiled. "Then come with me." She led him through winding corridors, past shimmering energy fields that pulsed with light, until they reached the observation deck. The city lay beneath them, a landscape of glass and crystal reflecting the fading suns. Lyra stepped to the edge, her figure framed by the sky. "I have a proposition," she said. "Not one of duty or expectation, but of choice." Eli frowned slightly, uncertain. "A proposition?" "Yes," Lyra said, tilting her head. "A game, of sorts. One that may change everything." She extended her hand. "Will you play with me?" Eli hesitated for only a moment before taking her hand. The contact sent a surprising warmth through him, and he realized that this was no ordinary invitation. The air around them seemed charged, alive with possibility. The game was simple at first. They would explore the hidden parts of the city, racing through corridors and energy chambers, deciphering puzzles that only Lyra could understand. She moved with grace and purpose, but she also laughed, genuinely delighted by his determination and ingenuity. Eli found himself matching her stride, keeping up in ways he never thought possible. As hours passed, the playful tone of the day began to shift. Lyra observed him closely, noting the subtle courage in his decisions, the way he balanced curiosity with caution. There was a depth to him, a capacity for empathy and understanding that resonated with something deep inside her. She realized, with a startling clarity, that her fascination with him was no longer just amusement by the time the twin suns had fully set, painting the city in shades of violet and silver. They arrived at the pinnacle of the highest tower. Here, the wind was fierce, but Eli no longer hesitated. Lyra handed him a small device, one that opened a holographic projection of the stars beyond their planet. "This," she said softly, "is a map to something beyond imagination. Together, we can explore it. But the choice is yours, and yours alone. Will you step into the unknown with me?" Eli looked at the stars, then back at her. There was a vulnerability in her eyes he had not seen before, a hint of hope. He realized that her proposal was not just a game, not just an adventure, but an offering of partnership, of trust. "I will," he said finally. "I will go with you." The relief and joy that crossed her face was profound, but not exaggerated. It was a quiet happiness, the kind that comes from discovering that someone else shares your courage and your dreams. They spent the following days exploring hidden chambers beneath the city, ancient archives that revealed secrets of the planet's past, and floating gardens suspended by energy fields. Each discovery deepened their bond, transforming the playful energy between them into something more profound. Lyra found herself sharing memories and thoughts she had never revealed to another being. And Eli, in turn, shared stories of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs, in a way that surprised her with its depth and resilience. It was during one of these excursions that Lyra realized she had begun to love him. Not in the fleeting sense of attraction, but in the way one might love a companion who understands the essence of your being. The realization startled her. Because her species rarely experienced love in the human sense, love was measured, calculated, and often controlled. Yet with Eli, it was spontaneous, unpredictable, and entirely real. One evening, as they rested in a chamber that glowed with bioluminescent flora, Eli turned to her with a thoughtful expression. "I never expected any of this," he admitted. "Coming here, meeting you, I thought I'd be studying your world, but instead, I feel like I'm part of it." Lyra smiled softly, placing a hand over his. "That is the intention of the game," she said quietly. "To find someone who sees not just the surface, but the depth beneath." He looked at her, his gaze steady. "I do see it. I see you, Lyra." The simplicity of his words struck her deeply. No ceremony, no formal declaration, just recognition. And that alone carried a weight far greater than any ritual. Over the weeks, their adventures continued, but each was tempered by moments of quiet reflection. They shared meals in suspended gardens where gravity behaved unpredictably, wandered through archives of alien history, and watched distant planets spin in the skies above. Each moment of connection strengthened their bond, and the playful energy of their first encounter had transformed into mutual respect, trust, and affection. One day, while exploring an ancient temple partially buried in the desert sands, they discovered a device that projected images of civilizations long gone. Lyra touched the controls, and scenes of alien communities appeared, showing lives filled with love, conflict, and joy. Eli watched, fascinated. These civilizations, he said, they valued connection, even across time. "Yes," Lyra replied. "And yet many fell because they could not adapt, could not embrace change. We must learn from them if we wish to endure." Eli looked at her with understanding. "Then we adapt together," he said. That simple statement, so human in its phrasing yet profound in its truth, resonated with her. She realized that their partnership was not just about exploration or adventure. It was about growth, about combining the strengths of two species in a bond that could transcend boundaries. As the suns rose and set over the crystalline city, marking weeks and months, their relationship deepened. Lyra no longer saw Eli as merely a human curiosity, but as a partner, an equal, and ultimately, someone she could not imagine being without. The playful proposal that had begun as a test of trust had blossomed into an unforeseen, profound love. Their bond became known among their respective communities. Aliens marveled at Lyra's choice, noting her bravery and openness, while humans on the planet respected Eli's courage and insight. The pair became symbols of collaboration and understanding, showing that love and connection could thrive even between the most disparate of beings. One evening, atop the observation deck where their journey had begun, Lyra turned to Eli. The city below shimmered, bathed in the golden light of the twin setting suns. "I once thought this was a game," she said, her voice gentle, almost vulnerable. "I did not expect it to lead here, to something so deep." Eli took her hand in his touch steadying. "Love rarely follows plans," he replied. "It grows in unexpected places, between people who dare to trust one another." Lyra smiled, feeling a warmth she had never known. The thrill of her initial proposal had evolved into a bond neither had anticipated. In his eyes, she saw courage, kindness, and a steadfast devotion that surpassed mere fascination. In her eyes, Eli saw the intelligence, wit, and openness that had first drawn him in. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, leaving a sky ablaze with stars. For the first time, Lyra felt truly unbound by expectation or tradition. She had taken a risk, and it had yielded something extraordinary. A love that was neither fleeting nor trivial, but genuine, resilient, and transformative. And as they stood together, hands intertwined, the city glittering beneath them, both understood that their journey had only just begun. What had started as a playful proposal had become a partnership that would shape not only their own lives, but the world around them. In the quiet of that moment, they shared an unspoken understanding that love, courage, and trust were not bound by species, or by worlds, or by the limits of expectation. They were bound only by the hearts, willing to embrace them. The days that followed were filled with exploration, discovery, and growth. Together, they ventured beyond the city, into the deserts, the oceans of glass, and the skyways suspended by energy fields. They uncovered ancient secrets, navigated political challenges, and learned to negotiate the complexities of human and alien coexistence. Each trial strengthened their connection, forging a bond that could withstand even the harshest storms. Lyra sometimes paused to reflect on the journey. She had once imagined love as something calculated, something prescribed by tradition and duty. With Eli, she had discovered